I don't know about you, but I used to be this person, and here's the person I'm talking about. Most women, when they go on a vacation or they're planning to go on a vacation, they don't think that vacation also includes taking care of yourself. It's almost like completely disengaging from your self care and taking care of your health and your fitness needs. Now, I'm not saying go into a vacation all rigid and tracking everything. And that's not what I'm talking about at all. But I think there are a lot of things that we can do when we go on a vacation, preparing to go on the vacation, the trip, whatever, the getaway, that will help us set ourselves up for success in having not just a fantastic time and an enjoyable time on our getaway, but also at the end feeling great physically and mentally about everything. And so I just got back from a fantastic, amazing trip to Spain. I'll share a little bit about that. But I was gone for a total of 11 days. A couple of those days were long, long travel days. And I just want to share with you, I've got like 10 things I'm going to go over in this episode that I think will really help you if you haven't implemented these things on your vacation, on your getaway, on your trips. And yeah, I just hope that it helps. Let's get into it. Hey, girl, welcome back to our show. I'm so excited to be back from my trip, getting back into the swing of things. And actually, today it's Thursday, and exciting day today because this is an exciting week that I've been looking forward to all year. I mean, all year, yeah, all year. It is fourth annual Rockstar Retreat Day, and all of the rock stars coming into the retreat today they're coming. And I'm excited and pumped. But I just came back from this trip to Spain, and I wanted to do a quick podcast episode to share with you a little bit about my trip. And also, I want to give you some tips and some things to think about for your own trip, your own vacation when you go. Wherever you go, I think that many of these things will apply. Many women. So let me just give you a little bit. Let me give you a little backstory about my trip to Spain, in case you don't know. My mom is from Spain. She's the only one here in the United States. All of her family, my family, are in Spain, Seville, Spain, to be exact. And she wasn't able to go, but I will say, I took her along because we FaceTimed her every single day while I was there, and so she kind of got to be a part of it, and she was really happy to be a part of it in that way. So anyway, she couldn't go because of health reasons. So yeah, she didn't go. So my mom's from Spain. My mom is Spanish. I'm half Spanish, which makes me, I guess, first generation American, Spanish American, whatever. You know what I mean. So I've been planning on going on this trip. It's actually been 2 years I've been planning this because I don't know if you know this, but it takes quite a long time to get your passport. It did for me anyway. And I had my passport before, but it expired. Last time I was in Spain, I was 20 years old with my mom. We went together and it was wonderful. But last time I went, right, I had a completely different mindset. Things were different for me back then. But anyway, point being, I've been planning this for 2 years, and my cousins there have been so excited to have me, and we had a freaking blast. Every single day I was there, they took me out sightseeing. I didn't expect this. I had no idea. I really was just thinking, I'm going to Spain to spend time with family, hang out, hang out at the house, hang out at the neighborhood, be a part, immersion, right? Which we did have that. But also just they were so kind and generous and abundant. And every day they had something planned. We went to the Plaza of Seville. We went to the Cathedral of Seville. We went to the Sanctuary of La Macarena, which is the Virgin Mary. We went to La Feria, which is the biggest festival in Spain every year. I got to spend time with different parts of the family. Just such a great time. And I'm not going to get into all of that because and if you want to, you can go to my Instagram account and see I created some reels. And so you can actually see in video the things that I actually got to experience. It was truly amazing. But I digress. I just want to share with you some tips today on your own vacation time and what you do. And I know this is this was a big trip for me. And I tried to do my best to keep things simple. But let's go ahead and go into these. Like, I've got these 10 things here that I want to talk about to help you plan for your next trip, your next getaway, wherever you're going, whatever you're doing away from home. Because let's face it, when we are not home, we're out of a routine. That's just the way that it is. We're not in routine. It does make it more challenging when we're not in our routine at home, where it makes it simple, right? And this isn't necessarily geared towards the person who is constantly traveling for work or whatever. But there are some things here that would help you too. But let's get into it. So first of all, when you're planning your trip, when I was planning my trip, this is an idea where your mindset, you have to have your mindset planned in advance. So you want to set the intention. And here's the problem with most women when it comes to their intention: they're either on or off. And this idea of being on or off makes it to where you actually you're not living a fit lifestyle. You're either on or you're off. And this causes issues. Causes problems with you not taking care of yourself. And so for me, it's not necessarily an on or off situation. Like, I'm on here at routine in my life, yes, but then I'm off when I go, on a getaway like this, a trip. It's more like it's a different routine. So intention is that I set up my mind for not being perfect, knowing that this was going to be a completely different experience. Yes, I'm going to be out of routine, but this is not on or off. It's what are the things I'm going to be able to still maintain and do to take care of my body and my mind while I'm gone. Simple, right? It's a simple thing to think about rather than I'm on or off, because being completely off, like, truthfully, we're going to have to face the consequences of being completely off, whatever those are. And if you want to be completely off, like, you go for it, girl. I know that feeling. And I'll tell you right now, side note, the last time I went to Spain, we were there for an entire month. And I'm not even kidding you, 30 days of enjoying the food and the tapas, not getting a lot of movement in. And I literally gained, I remember this, 10 pounds. And you might say, yeah, but that was probably water weight from salt and sugar. No, my pants, I was like a sausage in my jeans. I could barely fit into my pants coming back home. Almost needed to go to the store to buy some new pants. I'm not kidding. So we face the consequences of our choices. Number two, I packed for movement. I packed for movement in this way. I didn't really know what was going to come, what I had available to me. I didn't know what the neighborhood was going to be like when it comes to getting walking in. Um, I asked my cousin if there was a gym nearby, but then after I asked him, I thought, oh my gosh, that's ridiculous. Let's just get real here, okay? So what I did was, and I know we can pack resistance bands, but I also packed, I did have some resistance band. This is what makes it so easy. Resistance bands, you can throw those in your suitcase easily. But I packed suspension straps, and suspension strap training is a great way to get some wonderful training in. And I did that. And you can also see that on my Instagram. I actually posted 2 posts with me actually doing suspension strap training. So I packed for that. I put that in my bag. I also knew, I needed I put my walking shoes, my running shoes in there for walking, making sure I had that, packing clothes for that, running shorts, tank tops, sports bras. I had that in there. So just packing for movement, making sure you get that in there. Cause they're like, I don't know about you, but if I don't have those things, right, I'm going to be less likely to do anything, really. Those are like, gotta have that. Gotta have the running shoes. Gotta have, like, the clothing to get the movement in. I mean, you don't have to, right? I mean, you can still do it, but just make it easy on yourself and pack some of these clothes. Number 3, back up, Anna, back it up. With the movement, I did ask my cousin, is it safe to run and walk in the neighborhood? And while I was there, I had 2 or 3 opportunities where I did go out, and he had a safe neighborhood. Thankfully, I was able to do that. And I went for miles on the walk, and it was beautiful. I really, really enjoyed the weather, the surroundings. It's such a beautiful place. Seville, Spain was truly amazing. I must say, my entire visit there was beyond what I could have expected. Went beyond my imagination. It was fantastic. So yeah, I did a lot of walking while I was there. Plus, we walked a lot while we were toured and we went everywhere. So, number three, um, this one, look for fitness opportunities. So maybe you have the opportunity at the hotel that you're going to find, when you're setting up your hotel stay, when you're setting up where you're going to be ahead of time, you can actually find out what's available to you. Thankfully, there was a hotel that I stayed at in Dallas before I took off, and I knew I was going to have a lot of time the next day before my flight. So that hotel had a great gym. It had all of the free weights, the barbell, all that stuff, and I was able to get a fantastic training session there. So thinking ahead, looking at where you're going to stay, and just planning for it. It really comes down to planning anyways. Every time it really does come down to planning. And then thinking about the tours and where you're going to be able to get some walking in. And we did, like I said, we did a lot of walking when we were out and about in Spain, and it was amazing. All right, so food strategy. What are we going to do about food? I think, of course, number one, I think you can, if you want to stick to your diet, you can, right? However, I believe that when you are, even if you are in a calorie deficit working on fat loss, I do believe that during vacation, I mean, you can track and do that, and it's doable, and I have, but it's a choice. And I really think that when you are working on establishing a healthy lifestyle, you got to understand that 1 week of not being in your calorie deficit, 1 week of not quite being dialed into your nutrition, is really nothing in the grand scheme of things. And so for me, my mindset, of course, yes, I am not dieting. But I do want to have a certain amount of maintenance. I don't want to have to work really hard when I get back to get back to my own personal body composition, which that's another story in itself. But I guess the idea here is that I think when we go on vacation, we really should have more of a vacation mindset in terms of like, I'm not going to be tracking. And I did not track food while I was on vacation. I think it's more about enjoying the local cuisine. I believe in handling things in a way where this is food freedom. This is food freedom. Knowing, especially when you know like what's healthy and what's not so healthy, and enjoy it all, but lean more towards the healthy choices, right? Making sure you're getting plenty of protein, making sure you're not eating to the point of being stuffed and uncomfortable, but making protein a priority. And I did this. I made sure protein was a priority while I was there. Some of the things that I did before I actually left was I actually, and you might say this is crazy, and you might think this is crazy, but the reason people think the things that I do are crazy is because most people don't do this kind of stuff. But I think it helps set me up for success. I don't know if I'm going to be getting enough protein. So I packed some protein bars. I also packed a Ziploc bag full of protein powder with my scoop. This is the way that I can make myself a protein shake to supplement if I'm not getting enough protein. This is a way I can add protein in if I'm able to, have some oatmeal or some yogurt while I'm there, which I did. Which, by the way, you can think in advance and look forward, look into and plan. Is there a grocery store you can go to? Can somebody take you? Can you Uber to the grocery store and get some staples? And I kind of did that, but at the same time, this was a different kind of trip for me. I'm out of the country. I'm in an entirely different culture. So my goal was to enjoy the culture and the foods. And while, yes, one of their main first meals is a big piece of toast with butter and jamon, ham. That's one of their staples daily. I enjoyed that for one day, but the other days while I was there, my cousin had oatmeal there for me, and he even had some Cheerios there for me. It was great to start off my day with the meal of substance for something that I knew the rest of the day I was going to be enjoying. And believe me, I enjoyed the cuisine, for the other meals of the day. But just thinking how you can make sure you get plenty of protein, because really that is the key. Because if we get enough protein during our day and during those days that we're away, it's actually going to help us, right, to not have cravings, to stay satisfied, and to not overindulge. It's just what happens physically because it keeps us protein is going to keep us satisfied. Not to mention, I want to keep feeding my muscles. My muscles, your muscles, our muscles need protein, building blocks for maintenance. And I wanted to maintain that, right? I know it was only 7 days there, but still, why would I not do that? That's just part of my lifestyle. That's part of taking care of my body. So again, I didn't track food while I was gone, but these are the things: hunger cues, being in touch with your hunger cues, and then fueling appropriately when you're able to, and doing your best to do that. And I did. So that's what I did. Taking some protein bars is very helpful as well. So I enjoy for the record, I'll tell you, I enjoyed, they do have some fried food there, a lot like their fish. They tend to fry their fish. Sometimes I would ask for grilled fish. You have the option. You can do that. But I did partake in the regular everyday things. Um, and lots of bread. Girl, I can't even tell you. The bread was amazing. And yes, I had pan, lots of pan while I was on this trip. But again, I was aware of um, my own cues, right? My hunger cues, my satiation cues. And that's just kind of how I managed it in case, that question comes up. That's how I did it. But I enjoyed all the tapas. I really, really did. I'm trying to, I even had, oh yes. Well, here's I did have some sweets and some desserts. We had some on the streets. They, when you're downtown, when you're in the city, there's so many cafes, so many bars and restaurants. And what we did have, we shared three amazing pastries while we were out there. But one of the things we didn't have in the house, which I'm thankful for, is a lot of sweets. For whatever reason, they didn't have a lot of sweets in the house. And I was glad because it wasn't any temptation to overindulge in more calories. So there's that. Hydration. Going on to the next one. Hydration. This is a non-negotiable. I don't care where you are, what's going on in your life. Hydration. Let's just keep the water flowing. And I did. And when I was there, I started out drinking water bottles that he had bought me. But I was like, man, they don't understand how much water I drink. And so one of the first restaurants we went to, had brought me a big bottle of water. And I took that water jug that it was like a liter, 1 liter bottle. And I carried that with me for days. And then it became a joke. They thought it was funny and they were getting me more liters of water. I had plenty. I was taking this with me on our walks. I was taking it with me on our tour. I made sure that I was staying hydrated, and it's so critical to do that because again, water, it's essential, right, for all of our systems, for our body. But also, when we aren't staying hydrated, there's a chance we're going to think that we're hungry because thirst masks itself as hunger. So yeah, staying hydrated, big deal, big deal. That is a non-negotiable. You may not even be able to track how much water you're drinking, which sometimes it's hard. Even when I was even having a challenge, but my nursey answer to that: keep an eye on your urine. It does not need to be the color of apple juice. We need to have a pale yellow, but definitely clear and pale yellow. You're good. That's how you're going to know you're staying hydrated. And don't wait till you're thirsty to drink water. All right, let's move on. Next, you already knew this though. Sleep is still a priority. Now, I was so jet lagged. I'm going to be honest. I struggled in this area the entire time I was there. I'm not mad about it for whatever reason because I have been taking care of my body, because I am in great health. It didn't impact me as it probably could most people. In the evenings, though, I tried. I was taking no pills. I didn't think about taking melatonin. I probably could have. It probably could have helped. But I was drinking this tea that they had called dormi, which means sleep. Some sleep tea. I don't even know what was in it, girl. I was drinking it. It was helpful. However, I still wasn't able to go to sleep. It was like 3 a.m. on average that I'd actually finally go to sleep. But they would let me sleep in. Not every day did I get to sleep in, but they did. So thankfully, I was able to get some decent sleep. It wasn't optimal. But again, that's the point. Like, do what you can to make sure that your sleep is a priority. Because as you know, when we don't get enough sleep or optimal sleep, that's also going to cause some hunger that we really aren't hungry. It's just our body craving some energy. And what it really needs is rest, really needs sleep. So that's what I did. And I wasn't mad about it. I spent some time reading. I spent some time creating videos and reels. I love doing that, and so it was a great way for me to recap each day while I was there. And I actually did recap this in my Instagram, day one, day two, day three, day four, and so I'm thankful that I did that because now I kind of have like that historical stuff in my Instagram post. And plus, I only did it like the first day to think I didn't know it was going to be a daily thing. But then the family and Angel and Maria del Mar, and they loved it. And they were like bragging about my videos. And I'm like, oh gosh, the pressure's on. So now I just made a video every day. And it turned out to be great. So anyway, I digress. Please make sure you're getting plenty of rest and sleep on your trip, because on your getaway, not only is that going to be healthy for your body, right? It's going to help you manage your hunger cues, your hunger and satiety hormones. Um, but it's also going to help you make wise choices, and you're going to be able to be more alert and aware and fully enjoy your time away. So make that sleep a priority. I know jet lag is a real thing. And boy, was it. I feel like I'm still trying to recover from it here right now as I'm back from that trip. I feel like I'm still a little jet lagged back and forth, but I'm recovering. So stress less. This is my next one. Stress less, and don't try to control everything when you're away. I knew I was going to be, in the middle of family and their lives and what was going on with them, and so I let go. We got to let go of rigid expectations in a situation like this, and just allow ourselves to adapt. And going into it with that mindset just helps you to just chill out and let go of that, those things where you feel like this isn't the way I usually do it, right? Because we're out of routine, and it's okay when we think to ourselves, I'm just going to adapt. And believe me, I had some adaptations too that I had to make, because I didn't get to do all the things that I normally do. Like, I would make sure I was getting plenty of protein first thing in the morning, which I didn't always, in the morning get to do the things I wanted to do. I was out of my routine. I didn't necessarily get to do, like, I love to do my mindset practice in the morning. That didn't quite happen while I was gone. And so I adapt. I don't allow those things out of my routine to be like, oh my God, I didn't get to do that. Well, we're out of routine, and we just accept it. And that helps us to have peace. My next point, I'm on number 8. Have some anchors, not some rigid routine while you're away, but some kind of anchors that can help you stay anchored to your own personal, um, I don't know, identity of a healthy and fit person, I guess. Some anchors, like some things that if you're able to keep these anchors, like journaling, like meditation, mindful practice, getting workouts in if you're able to. But some of the things that keep you grounded, if you're able to incorporate those things while you're away, have those anchors. I feel like my anchors while I was gone was definitely the opportunity that I had to get out and get walks, and also to go to the park. There was a park nearby. It was like a quarter mile away. And I took my backpack and I had my suspension straps in there, and I went to the park, and there was a park that had, like, the monkey bars and some other exercise bars out there. So that was an anchor for me to be able to go out. And it wasn't like a perfect training session, right? But still that anchor, right? That kind of helps to just reinforce and remind your subconscious brain of who you are and what you stand for and what you do, right? So those kind of anchors. I was kind of thinking, like, I felt like I didn't really have any anchors while I was gone, but truly I did, because I knew that going on this trip was not about restriction or guilt, and that I could go and experience everything with enjoyment and not losing myself. So also body awareness. I was aware and I paid attention to how much food I was eating, how I felt, and I gravitated towards the choices that caused me to feel good physically. That's an anchor. And then again, the daily movement and prioritizing my protein, I feel like those were anchors for me. So thinking on your vacation when you're gone, have those kind of anchors, right? And the hydration, drinking plenty of water. There's all these things that you can still have control over. You're not going to have control over everything. But when you have these, what we're calling anchors, in your health and your fitness, even while you're away, it's just a great reinforcement of who you really are as a healthy, fit woman. So keep those anchors in mind while you're traveling so you can feel like you. So, number 9, communicate your needs. Um, you got to speak up. You got to advocate for yourself. And I hear people make excuses, and I'm probably stepping on toes, but it is what it is because there isn't any excuse. We do have opportunity to speak up for ourselves, to plan ahead, to let people know our needs in advance. And if you aren't doing that, then we just accept the consequences, the cost of not doing that, right? But here's the thing. For me, I communicated my needs with my family ahead of time. They were asking me before I even left here. They were like, "What do you eat for breakfast? What do you?" And I was like, I didn't want them to feel a certain way, like obligated to meet all of my needs like that, especially since I'm going into their culture. I wanted to be a part of what they were doing. However, since they asked, they wanted to please me. They wanted to take care of me. And so I'm like, you know what I do? I eat blueberries in the morning. I love raspberries, blueberries, strawberries. I drink, fat-free milk. Cheerios is nice. And then I was like, that's all I need, really. And after that, I was, but you know what? They got all those things for me. They were so sweet. I couldn't believe they were over the top. They even got yogurt for me. They wanted to even give me more things, and I was like, no. Even while I was there, they were like wanting me to take me to the store to buy stuff that I wanted. I'm like, y'all, listen, I'm here to experience. I said, you know what? I'm Sevillana. I'm Sevillana. They thought that was so funny because I'm like, estoy aquí. Yo soy Sevillana. I'm Sevillana now, and they thought that was funny, which was really a kind of like a funny joke because my cousin Angel kept saying, yeah, because you were made in Spain, because I was conceived in Seville, Spain, but I was actually born in Austin, Texas. I was like, yes, hecho en España. But anyway, that was a kind of ongoing joke. But I wanted to immerse myself and truly enjoy the food, the culture, and all that. And boy, did I ever. So, but what the point I'm trying to make is advocate for yourself. Because I know people make this excuse. What I'm saying is, well, I'm with them and this is how they eat and they have, and believe me, girl, I know. I've been there. Remember Country Boy, the family in West Virginia, whole different way of eating, but I do communicate my needs. And it's not up to me to worry about how other people are going to perceive that. It's up to me to make choices to advocate for myself. And how other people respond to that that's not my business. It is my responsibility. So if I'm going to go to some place, I may need to take a trip to the grocery store to get some things that I need. I'm not going to be worried about what people think. Being in that state of mind is not helping yourself. You're not taking care of yourself. You got to advocate for yourself and communicate your needs. So I had this, my family, thankfully, I know not all families are like this, but my family was very gracious. And like I said, they provided for me that way. They even, in spite of like all the hours they spent taking me all out and about, I know that I wore them out. They were thankful. I even have a picture of them crashed out on the sofa. They were thankful, I'm sure, of the times I said, I'm going for a walk or I'm going to go work out at the park. And they let me. They gave me that time. We have to advocate for that time. Even I would ask the day before, what are we doing tomorrow? I want to plan my day. And they were so thankful, and gracious to help plan. They would say, well, we're going to do this at this time tomorrow. And then I could work around that, what I needed to do to take care of my food and my fitness needs. It was wonderful. Number 10, reframe. We got to reframe our situation when we go out. This is not, and we talk about this a lot in Rock That Fitness. This is not an all or nothing. Okay. Going on vacation, going on your getaway is an all or something, right? It says we're not going to be able to do everything like we do in our routine. So go into it realizing it's not all or nothing. This is all or something. What can I do? I'm going to do these things to get some small wins while you're gone. You don't need to crush your routine and to be amazed, to feel amazing, you just need to stay as consistent as you can with what you have control over. Um, I'm going to tell you that for me, some of the things that I did for myself, to keep my mindset in a place where I don't feel guilty, is with these extremes, is I know I can trust myself to go on a getaway. I have done this I've gone on getaways. I've been out of my routine. I mean, girl, come on. Look, I lost the fat, not just weight, right? 2017 and 18, got not just lost weight, right? I got strong, healthy, and fit, and I worked on my personal growth. So I have become a healthy, fit person. So that mindset has to be at the root of who you are, so that the things that you do come from that place of who you're being. And that's what's happened for me over the past all of these years, right? So for me, I know that going on a vacation for a few days or 10 days or 12 days, being out of my routine does not mean, oh my gosh, I'm going to gain weight. Oh my gosh, what am I going to do if I gain weight? It means, no, I may gain a few pounds, come back and just get back into my routine, and we're back. We're good to go. It ain't a big deal. I trust myself. I can trust that I know what my body needs on a daily basis. I can trust that I'm not going to gain back all 60 plus pounds that I lost back in 2017, 2018. I can just trust myself and knowing my routine and who I am and what I do, right? I can trust in that. And I say that because that, for me, helps me reframe. It's not about doing all or nothing. This is about all or something, right? I was able to get in a walk for 20 minutes. Sure, that's something. That's better than not walking at all just because it's 20 minutes. Sure, I would have loved to have an hour at the time, whenever I wanted to go for a walk or whatever, but I take what I can and I'm doing something. Those small wins, don't underestimate those small wins. All of those small wins keep reinforcing the person you're becoming, the person you're meant to be, the person that you want to be, right? That healthy, fit woman who cares for herself, who stands up for herself, who advocates for her needs. And in the end, it's not only the greatest, best thing you can do for yourself, it's the greatest, best thing you can do for everybody around you. That is truly, that self-care, that self-love is not selfish. How many times do I have to remind us of this? It is actually the most selfless thing you can do, and people will learn to respect you and be grateful for that you're taking care of yourself. Nobody's going to feel like they need to take care of you. So um I just want to remind you as I wrap up, vacations are for living. Okay. You can enjoy them even more when you're taking care of yourself and you're taking care of your body, and not out of a place of like guilt or shame, but out of a place like, I care for my body. This is the body I have to continue living the rest of my life healthy, strong, and fit. And even when I go on vacation or have a getaway, ignoring my health and fitness needs, that is not self-care. Okay. It's just not. Let's just call it what it is. That's gluttony. That's self-abuse. I'm just going to put it out there. When you go on your getaway, take care of your body, girl. You deserve it. It's in your best interest and everybody else's. So I just want you to reflect on a couple of things, maybe for your next trip, what kind of things you can do to get your mindset in the right place. Maybe you want to share what you're going to do, how you're going to manage your next vacation with your maybe an accountability partner or a coach. Yeah, reflect on the things you're going to do to take action, to take care of your body, and not in a sense of like, I'm dieting. No, we're done with this diet mentality. We are establishing and living a healthy, fit lifestyle. Um, yeah. Would love to hear from you. If any of this podcast episode spoke to you, if it was helpful, I would love to hear from you. Leave me a comment, leave me a review, leave us a review here on the podcast. It would probably help somebody else, and share it. Share this podcast with somebody. Do me a favor. If you've been enjoying Rock That Fitness with Anna Rockstar podcast, share it with somebody. I really would appreciate it. And I really, really, really hope that for your next vacation, your next getaway, that you can actually implement some of these things for yourself and watch how you can fully, truly enjoy that mindset of caring for yourself because you deserve it and you're meant for more. I love you, girl. We're going to keep on going. Self care, self love all day, every day, in all the ways, even on vacation, even on getaways. Rock on.